How can people find their passion and turn into a business?
You got to know what you love to do, and you got to stick with it. Typically, what I go from myself and experience is I went through a series of working for a corporation, and then I was like, this corporation isn't for me. They don't really know who I am. They don't really love what I do. So I started a this marketing company, and then when I found out that I loved learning new information, I loved applying it to people, and I loved seeing them reap the benefits. That's when I figured I was like, okay, cool. Giving is a thing that I like to do. When you have a passion, you have to really try everything. Like, you don't really know what you really love to do until you try it all.
So what are the best practices when becoming a business owner or working with someone that you believe in?
They call us new money, right? So when we're born and we grow up, we don't really know much, right? We don't have a lot of knowledge. We learn what schools teach us. But what happens is when you look at history, right, you get to understand that there's something that actually happened in the past that you can do now, but it's just a little bit more modern. So it's really about understanding what the greats did and then assessing what you have to do now. Some of the best practices also is like learning policy and procedure. Every state, every city has a state policy and procedure that businesses have to follow. So when you're trying to start a business, it's always good to be prompt on the legal laws or the policies that are being implemented within the land and the city. So this way, when you do start a business, that you pretty much understand it. When you work with someone you believe in, what I do is I see what a person loves. I see what makes you happy. Once I see what makes you happy, then I look at how people are interacting with you. Once I see how people are interacting with you, I then provide advice. And that advice is typically backed by my knowledge in the industry. So if you're believing in somebody, you have to really hold them accountable. You gotta give them the right knowledge and the right guidance. By guidance, I mean, some people like to hold people accountable to what they do, but a lot of times you gotta hold people accountable to like what makes them feel a certain way. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta get back to the root of who you are.
You're focused with your business in Black communities. Why is that so important to you?
The need is in the information. The need is in the history. The need is in the influences, in the teaching. It's in the processes and the practical teachings. In our community, we're we're a couple hundred years behind,
Yeah.
So we don't have time to waste. So when I work with somebody, or when I'm into marketing in the community, it's actually business development first, then marketing is the end result. So marketing is a multi-level, multifaceted type of thing. And it's all about putting something out there, then listening to it. Putting something out there, then listening to it, and then growing with it. That's something our community really needs. We need to really understand each other better and build better trust in our marketing efforts.
The media space is huge and propaganda is everywhere. Do you believe that Black communities have been victim to malicious marketing over the years?
There has been some bad leadership with our community overall. In my mind, I feel like if we can own our culture, which is what we produce the most of or have the most influence in, like I said, sports or entertainment, even from a business perspective, then we can still win, right? In a sense, and that's our resource, right? So imagine if you go to a nail salon and you see mainly Asians or Vietnamese people, that's their culture, right? You go to a bank, right? So most banks are either owned by Jewish or they're owned by the whites, right? So that's their market, right? There has to be a business side to everything you do. There can't just be a emotion attached to your vision. There has to be some type of business. By business, I mean exchange in value, right? And by value, I mean the intention within the reality that makes it like experience.
What are the biggest misconceptions and mistakes that small businesses make in marketing?
They make a bad decision in investing first about something they don't really research. They should definitely research more about the term marketing and what it really means, opposed to just say, oh, I got a marketer, or I did radio, I put my money here, and having that quick ego hit, right? But the ego should really be in the knowledge of the information. So have that same energy when it goes to reading at night. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has a specific habit outside of work, but like when you're building a business to hire people, you're building a business to provide people with different lives. Like in a sense, you're a leader of your own castle. So you have a lot more responsibility to put people in the best position possible. So when it comes to marketing, I mean, you know, it's really just about really looking at Google Analytics, looking at what the algorithm on Instagram, looking at social media content, you know, making sure you're being relevant to what's happening in the world and not just thinking about it yourself and, you know, kind of self-loathing. You know, when you get off work, don't just stop working. You gotta learn more. People believe in you.
What new tools and sources have came onto the scene that who will help out small businesses in marketing and business development?
Right now, 2020, man, it's a lot of resources out there. So right now, for example, they got a site called Udemy. I guess a little free advertisement right there. So it's a site called Udemy, where Udemy teaches people about marketing and teaches you about business advantages, the value chain. Have financial literacy on Udemy. That's one thing I use and I utilize faithfully. And also there's a site called Coursera I utilize as well, but they have college-based courses out of Yale, Harvard, you know, Columbiana, places like that where you can really learn, Pennsylvania, University of Pennsylvania, where you can really learn high-level knowledge about business. So there's plenty of sources out there for everybody to utilize. You know, for 4 years, I kind of just, you know, basically just focused on learning, honestly. That was my biggest commitment to myself because I felt like in a world where you have nothing, you know, as a Black man, you have nothing, like wealth or land or, you know, even support. You have to depend on your knowledge and what you know.
Business is changing faster and faster. Where do you see the future of business and marketing going, and how can Black businesses not get left behind?
Like we just talked about, definitely learning. Also learning policy, also learning where the market is going, what's coming to your city, what's leaving your city, where's the opportunity at, what do people want? So really listening and putting your ears to the ground and just being more with the dirt, being more with the soil, being more with the root, you know, what's coming. Like you want to know, you want to prepare yourself for a storm. You want to prepare or build a business for the next couple of years. You don't want to make a business just for how you feel in the moment. A lot of our people make businesses based on how they feel. It's not valid. It's not even realistic. We have to make businesses based on what's tangible, what we can provide, how we can become a resource. So there's a lot of resources for you. There's a lot of change in the world. There's a lot of people that want to support you, but you have to honestly create a branded experience for your business. You have to say, hey, the person comes in the door, you need to say this, right? If the person leaves, we need to say this. If the person comes to the register, we need to be like this. If the person goes to the bathroom, this experience is this clean. Like we really have to really understand every single step in the real estate of the building or even online. We have to understand that it's about a branded experience.
If someone wanted to work with you, tell them how and what they will receive out of partnership with you or, you know, reaching out to you.
I tell people all the time, you get my brain. Like you kind of get my brain. Whatever you want to do, whatever you want to achieve, all the mistakes that I've made, all the mistakes that you probably will make, I can think about it ahead of time. Because one thing we have to understand is most people don't trust consultancy, but I wouldn't call what I do consultancy. Come ready to listen, come ready to learn. Leave your emotions at the computer. You leave them in the room. My goal is to make sure that you're going to do exactly what you need to do in order to make sure that those hard steps, long steps, those investments, they're going to be valid. You're going to make the right decisions. You're going to make the right choices when it comes down to investing your money, placing your money where it needs to be, putting your time where it needs to be, and really becoming more articulate with your business, becoming more articulate in life, becoming more purposeful, having the right mindset. So imagine if you were creative and charity was happiness, right? So if you're creative and you know that you're thinking about creative, which creativity literally means to connect. So if you're the person that's creative and you got all these ideas and thoughts, right, and you want to be happy about those creative thoughts, you go to charity, right? So charity is extremely happy. She's hugging people. She's always like, she's giving the rah-rah energy. And then you know her for happy and she knows you for creative. So if you got somebody who's over here, like, let's say, sad, right? Hey, man, you know somebody that's sad, and then you take her to charity, and now all of a sudden, sad man is happy when he's sad. See, so now you get a chance to see the growth of energy, and it's all about having a mindset change. And so now, if you have a business with one specific core mindset of simply serving one purpose, you're kind of planting that, like I said, mustard seed or a sequoia seed, and it's kind of going to grow strong, and people are going to be able to know you and identify you for that. And I think that we need more of that.